I think we genuinely hit the sweet spot here, the exact moment where everything lined up and we were finally able to capture the kind of data you hope for but don't often get. Last night was one of those rare nights, completely clear from an atmospheric perspective, the kind of sky that makes astrophotography feel effortless. Conditions like that don't happen often, and when they do, you take full advantage of them. It was the perfect setup to image Comet 3A Atlas, and right from the start, it felt like this night was going to deliver something special. I want to sincerely thank everyone who showed support and encouragement, especially those who stayed with me on the live stream. That kind of engagement matters more than people realize. If you weren't able to join live, that's completely fine. The stream is still available on the channel and you can go back and watch exactly how this unfolded in real time. I may even go live again today. I was also trying to set up another telescope, but that one just wasn't cooperating. It was literally touching the tripod legs, so I decided not to force it. The scope I was already using performed exceptionally well, delivering fantastic images, and it made it clear that I didn't need anything bigger for this session. If the other setup doesn't work, that's fine. It's something I'll explain in a future video, why I have it and what it's meant for. Once again, thank you for the generosity and support. It genuinely helps keep this work going. And yes, this really did feel like hitting the jackpot. We found the sweet spot. Comet 3A Atlas came in close enough last night that it finally revealed its true behavior. One of the biggest surprises was the jets. I initially thought they were just wobbly or inconsistent, but that assumption didn't survive the data. The jets are sharp, clearly defined, and they appear distinctly on one side in one image and then on the opposite side in the next. You can see it very clearly. That alone was unexpected, but what really stood out was the rotation. The jets appear to rotate almost like a time-lapse effect. In one frame, the jet is here, and in the next, it wraps around to a different position. The same coma or smoke-like structure shows up in one place and then reappears shifted in the following image. You can actually watch the jets moving around the comet as if something at the front is spinning and projecting material outward. That's not what we usually expect. Normally, with icy bodies like comets, when they heat up, the ice sublimates and material is pushed backward, forming a large, obvious tail. You may see multiple jets depending on composition, but everything generally streams away in a consistent direction. This object behaves differently. It looks almost like something is enclosed inside, with specific openings projecting gas outward through multiple vents. We don't know the internal structure or exact composition, but it resembles something more controlled, like natural ventilation, similar to volcanic vents on Earth. These could be naturally formed openings where gas escapes, and that's what we may be seeing. Whatever the explanation, seeing this level of detail up close is fascinating. As long as it's possible, I'll continue going live and observing while the comet remains visible until it fades into a small dot. Eventually, all we'll be able to do is watch as it approaches Jupiter. For now, though, we still have a few days where extended, close observation is possible, and I'll continue sharing these images. If you haven't subscribed, please do hit the like button, turn on notifications. It helps more than you might think. Now let me show you the data itself, because what we captured is remarkable. I started the night imaging Orion and then transitioned to Comet 3I Atlas around midnight. We continued imaging all the way until about 6:30 in the morning. Early night and early morning data is usually weaker, and that was true here as well. The strongest data came from roughly 2030 to 6000 when the comet was ideally positioned. That's when it looked absolutely perfect. I carefully aligned the images to ensure accuracy. And when you look at a single frame, you see a long trail, a classic comet appearance. Zooming in, the nucleus appears round, exactly what you'd expect. These initial frames are just the starting point. I then examined how far the comet traveled across the frame and cropped precisely around that region, isolating its motion. That gave a much clearer view. You can see the comet entering from the top, and these are easily some of the best images we've ever captured of this object. From there, I removed noise and applied comet alignment, a standard process in comet imaging. Comet alignment keeps the comet fixed while the stars trail, allowing us to focus only on the object of interest. The first frame is complete, but as the comet moves, portions of the frame drop out, which is expected. What you're seeing is the sky moving behind the comet. At this point, our focus is entirely on the comet itself. I zoomed in as much as possible because this data is genuinely important. I ran the time lapse, and while there's some atmospheric interference and possibly a wide coma, I temporarily removed those effects to better understand the comet's behavior. After darkening the background, the structure became much clearer. Running the time lapse again, what you're seeing are likely the best images of Comet 3A Atlas will ever obtain, taken during the early hours of December 19. You could watch the sequence endlessly and continue noticing new details. Technically, calling this a comet almost feels limiting unless we expand the definition. Going frame by frame, you can see the coma changing shape, flattening in one image and shifting in the next. By moving back and forth between frames, the rotation becomes obvious. In certain regions, you can clearly see the effect of spin, the jets wrapping around the nucleus. The angles change, sometimes dramatically, even between two frames taken just 60 seconds apart, frames labeled 73 and 74. In one image, a jet appears in one location, and in the next, it's clearly somewhere else. That's not subtle. That's a real directional change. Watching this unfold makes it very clear that something active is happening here. This is a clear case, and I truly appreciate everyone who continues to follow, support, and engage with this work.